into the room. You're free to just be you. Tell me your story, and we will go exploring. Let's explore together.
Hello, and welcome to Sac in the City. I'm your host, Teresa Marie. Today we are joined by a couple that believes sharing is caring. They are members of the lifestyle community, also known as swingers. Welcome, Rick. Welcome, Shannon. Thank you so much for being on Sac in the City.
Thank you.
So first off, how long have you been together?
18 years.
18 years.
Married for just over 17.
Congratulations. Congratulations. That's wonderful. And how long have you been in the lifestyle?
6 years plus, a little
Okay.
over.
Just a little over
Wonderful.
6.
Whose idea was it to go into the lifestyle?
Oh, his, definitely his.
Me.
So 6 years ago, it was a few days ago.
A few days ago.
Do you remember how you brought it up, Rick?
So it was actually, the topic first came up 8 years ago. And we were sitting around, and I really don't even remember how or why it came up. I'd had a little bit more of a wild lifestyle, I guess, before we got together.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just kind of threw it out there.
Okay.
And we talked about it off and on and kind of did some fantasy play, like, oh, how about if this situation ever happened?
Sure.
And then it would go away for a while.
Now, was it initially, when you brought it up 8 years ago, was it initially going into the swinger lifestyle, or was it welcoming somebody else into your bedroom?
I think
Yeah,
much
I think
more
it
of
was
that.
more, yeah,
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
it was more of, so what would you think about, either a single woman or, and I think
Sure.
it was probably just a single woman at the time.
Sure.
I don't think it was like, oh, couples or a single guy. It was more like,
And
so.
over the 2 years, I think it evolved more into
Yeah.
researching the lifestyle. And
Right.
I mean, I was aware of it, but
Right.
I didn't know anybody who was in it. And so I'd go out on the forums, go out and just look and see what was there, share it with her.
Mm-hmm.
And I say eventually we just decided, let's try it. If you don't like it, then you just go on with life.
And was your reaction positive when Rick first brought this up?
Well, I
Were
think
you hesitant?
yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, what's wrong with me? Why do you want to bring somebody else in? But then there's always that little bit of curiosity that's like, okay, this could be fun.
Right.
So it was never like, I don't think I was truly ever opposed,
No.
like, oh, how dare you kind of thing. But,
Right.
there's always that curiosity, and then it's kind of like, yeah, this could be fun. This could be fun.
So you went with it.
So we rolled with it.
And here you are
And
6
here
years
we
later.
6 years later.
6 years later.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And you love it.
It's a great time.
So how was the first time?
The first time,
Probably why we stayed
Do you
in it.
remember?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely
definitely.
remember it.
We went to a club, and of course, I don't know if he was. I was petrified. So we sat out in the parking lot in the car thinking, what are we doing?
Do we go in? Do we
Do we
not?
go in? And we were, of course, early because we figured, we'll go in, we'll get a tour
Is
of the
the
place.
parking lot enough of a thrill? We can just stop right here.
Let's just hang out here for a while. But we went in. We met some great people. We actually met a couple.
And they were very experienced. They'd been in at the
they'd
time
been in for quite a
probably
while.
20 years, 15, 20 years.
Wow.
And very, very, they made us feel very comfortable. We did play, and it was very soft. So nothing,
So
But
let's
Soft.
elaborate.
Somebody broke the rules on our first night.
Okay, well, couple things I want to touch on here. First of all, if we can elaborate, you said play.
Play.
So if you can elaborate on what that means. And then you also said soft.
yes.
So when we say play and soft, what does that refer to in the swinger dictionary, if you will?
The Swinger Dictionary.
So playing would be any form of involvement with another single, couple, or group.
Right.
Okay.
Whether it's touching, kissing, you could just be having sex in the same room
Sure.
with
Right.
with your own
Yeah.
partner. And soft, so there's basically people refer to it soft or full. So a soft swap is pretty much everything up until actual intercourse with
right.
the opposing person.
So that would be the same room
Yes.
you spoke of. Okay.
And
Well,
it,
and
and
not
it,
even
it can
that,
be it can
yeah.
be separate room. We don't do that, but there's a lot of people who that's their thing. And so our first night, because we had discussed, okay, we're going to try it. We'll go. Here's our limit. We're because we didn't know whether or not you're ready. You don't know until you do it, and whether you're going to have any jealousy, whether you're going to have any ill feelings, whatever. And so,
And
like I
that
say,
was, because that was something that he asked me. He's always, how would you feel seeing me with another woman? Well, how do I know until it happens? I mean,
only one way to find out.
when you think in your head, okay, well, no, you're my man. Why would I want to see you with somebody else?
Right.
But you don't know how you're going to feel or how you're going to react
Sure.
until you're put in that situation.
Sure.
And I mean, and this being put in that situation is a choice, obviously, between the two of us, and that's why we did this.
And we decided from the very beginning that we would have the mindset of everybody we met that we decided to bring in. They're kind of toys for us to play with, and nothing. We would never allow anybody to come in between us in our relationship.
So meaning no strings attached.
Nope.
It's
absolutely
about
not.
sex.
Exactly.
Okay.
Sex,
Sex
that's
and
the thing.
friendship.
It's,
Yeah.
it's just sex.
Okay.
And that was kind of how, and I don't know if you would say that's how you have to look at it, because we have met some amazing people. We have some amazing friends that we've met in the lifestyle that I have no doubt we will be friends with.
Oh, we would be
years to
Forever.
come.
we would
Sure.
be
You
friends
know?
with them whether or not.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
We have friends in a lifestyle that we've never played with.
Exactly.
Because we get along so well, and for whatever reason, we've just all decided that
It just-
that's
yeah,
just
that's
not a
just
component
not-
of our
right.
relationship. So, and let me tell you, swingers are the best friends to have because you can have so much fun, tell any joke, nobody gets offended by anything.
The
you know,
conversations you can have are so much different
especially
than
in public.
with
People are
vanilla people.
people just look at us like.
Shannon, you just keep bringing up the swinger dictionary. What's
Vanilla.
vanilla? That's a
Okay,
type of ice
vanilla-
cream, right?
Vanilla is a type of ice cream. Vanilla are non-lifestyle people. Because there's vanilla.
Vanilla and
There's
swirls.
Swirl are people that are interested, possibly
Curious, but they haven't taken the plunge yet.
curious, but haven't
Swirl.
taken the plunge.
Swirl. So we were swirls before
That
we
is
ever
not
went
what
to a
I
party.
thought swirl
And then
was.
and then there's lifestyle. So I don't know if we have a flavor.
Now,
There's no flavor.
do swingers
associated with
call non-swingers vanilla?
Yes.
this. Yes.
Because they're pretty much like
Bland.
calling them boring.
I think so. I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
far
right.
as I mean, and you won't say that people are boring. Well,
Parties
some
are a little
people
bit
boring.
different, right?
Yes.
Parties are different.
And you have to be very careful.
Parties are very
As somebody in the lifestyle, when you have a party or you go to a party,
Right.
the way that you greet people is much
Right.
different than a vanilla party, and you have to be very careful when you meet regular friends.
I would
Yes.
imagine
not to
that.
pat them on the ass.
I would
so.
imagine that.
That's
It's received
happened.
probably a little bit different.
That has happened.
Right?
I've done,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Yeah, it's like, oh,
a little
wrong
embarrassing.
crowd.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Apologize immediately.
I'm
and
not
just
sure. I'm
let
not
it go.
sure that she actually objected too much, but it's like, oh yeah, I got to remember.
You might have
what-
really bonded.
What group
Yeah,
of friends
it's-
we're with?
absolutely.
And then
Yeah.
and then there's a little. So when swingers get together and go out, they go vanilla hunting, which is you are specifically searching out non-lifestyle people to try and either convert them or even if it's just for a night. So you go vanilla hunting,
Vanilla hunting.
Vanilla hunting. I've
and it could be male or
I was
female.
gonna say
Sure.
I've only actively vanilla hunted one time, I think.
How was that?
And
How did that
As a
work?
bartender.
she was a bartender at a local bar. Absolutely adorable. And
I know a few of those.
yeah, and so he kept pushing, yeah, you gotta ask her out. And I'm like, how do I do this? So we were at this bar and we were with some friends. So him and the guy were at the bar, and I said, well, send her over. And so she came over, and I'm like, so have you ever thought about dating a couple? And she was kind of, I guess she was taken aback.
Yeah? Yeah, it might
Kinda
take a minute
like,
to process.
And
A shocking question.
yeah, and she kind of smiled and she says, no, I haven't. And I said, well, I think you should. And we have business cards
Uh-huh.
for the lifestyle that
You have business cards?
Yes, we hand out.
do actually
a couple's
business
card.
cards.
Wow,
And
that's
so,
legit.
Yeah, so I had my phone number on the back, and I said, well, you know, if you're ever interested, I said, we would love to take you out. And I gave her my card. And
Sadly, it
off
didn't
she
work.
went. Sadly, it did not.
But it
pan
broke
out,
the ice,
but
right?
I,
And-
the card may be floating around every bar in Sacramento.
I'm sure your number's written on a stall somewhere.
That's flattering.
I haven't received any calls, so
Yeah,
you know, I'm.
So let me ask. So your first time, you love it. It's a big hit. 6 years. In that 6 years, has it ever been a not a good time, or that jealousy bug has ever bit you?
No.
You haven't had the jealousy
No
bug
jealousy.
whatsoever.
No jealousy.
No jealousy.
Okay.
And as I think most people in lifestyle would tell you, if you've been in for any amount of time, you have bad experiences.
Sure.
And we've had a few.
A few.
And typically it's maybe a clash of personalities, or we did have an experience where, and we didn't know this ahead of time, a couple that we were playing with were in the lifestyle for the completely wrong reasons. And so there was an incident while we were playing, and it was bad for the woman.
Yeah.
And so we backed off and was like, okay, because the lifestyle will not fix a relationship.
No.
Right.
No.
It will probably divide you more.
What were their reasons, you think, for getting involved?
well,
I
they-
mean, they're trying to save their relationship, but what
Well, it was
aspect do you
he
think they were trying to
apparently,
patch?
as we found out that night later, he had cheated on her, and she
She
did
thought
not
this was going to be the way to
to
keep
keep
I
him
see.
from cheating.
I see.
If
so
she
that
got involved
it was kind of
too,
like an allowed cheating.
Right.
and
that
and it
this
just
would
hit
fix
her in the
things.
moment that
Yeah.
this was actually going on, and so she kind of had a little breakdown, and
So
some tears were shed, and
right. Okay.
So-
Yeah.
Was that their first time?
No.
Okay.
No.
It was just that moment for her where that hit her.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
She
I
saw
think it
maybe
just-
the
I
bigger
think it
picture,
just-
so to speak. Yeah. So
So-
that's a tough one.
Oh yeah.
And definitely
a
not
little
probably
awkward.
not what you were after.
It was a little
probably
awkward,
you
yeah.
know, little
Tears,
bit of,
no.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a tough one. Well, and you know, anytime you deal with people, there's going to be that occasion that you run into somebody that you don't
Sure.
quite agree
Yeah.
with.
It's-
So
Oh, yeah.
and then you're being intimate with them, so there's that layer on it as well, because there is also that level of being very vulnerable. So
yes, and it's like real life. Some people you meet, you get along great with. Some people
Sure.
you meet, and you would never talk to them.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the lifestyle is the exact same way, but you're sharing, like you say, an extra level of
Right.
just intimacy and vulnerability, because you're putting yourself out there to be turned down or whatever. I mean, that's just
Yes.
So there's some big boost and some lows. It's
Sure.
peaks and valleys.
Yeah,
Well,
peaks and valleys.
Life.
definitely.
and I think
Yeah.
we try to take the mindset of it's never personal, because there are people that we've met that we weren't into, and they were more into us, and we've met people that we were into more than they were into us. And I say you just can't take it hard. I mean, it's
Right.
I learned in high school that you gotta take no for an answer and just go, okay, it's
It is what it is.
it's just you
Yeah.
look at it as, hey, it's your
So-
loss. We're a lot of fun.
My question for you that I'm curious about is, so you go to a party or you go to meet with a couple, whatever, you're mingling and you're in front of a group of people, so obviously you can't talk about them right in front of their face. I'm sure over the course of 6 years, you guys kind of have a system maybe for discussing couples and
We're disgusting couples.
yeah, for disgusting couples. Wow. We know how I feel, don't we? But do you have a system? Do you guys kind of just feel each other's body language and know that, hey, you know what, I can tell Rick is digging her and I'm digging him? Do you have a powwow?
You can tell. I
yeah.
can tell if she's having a good time and
Right.
she wants to. It's much more difficult if you, because maybe I'm not. There have been times when I've been talking to, or like we were in a situation where I was out dancing with a woman, and she was not into her husband, and I'm out there, we're having a great time. I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be great. We're going to go, and she comes out there and she's like,
And I'm like, we
need to go.
now. And he's like, oh no, we're having a great time.
And I'm like, no, I'm like having a really good
no,
time.
we're
And she's like,
not.
no, we're leaving right
Well,
now.
and that's what I was going to ask, is that has there ever been an occasion where you meet a couple and you super dig him and you don't dig her that much.
Yes.
You know, you ever take one for the team, so to speak,
I will say,
or
I
it's
think,
all or nothing?
I think that has really only happened once, and she really liked the husband, and the wife, and she wasn't bad looking. She wasn't. She
Right.
just wasn't what I would describe as my type.
Sure.
But I knew, like I said, she really liked the husband, and I knew that I wasn't going to have a bad time. That wasn't, like I say, I wasn't full on into her, and it was, sure, let's go and have a good time. And they don't live here. We met them on a trip, and so we've seen them again since then on another trip, and they're they're super nice people.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, but we would never, if there was somebody where it was, I mean, you just were not into them, neither of us would go
Yeah.
that, and neither of us should really
So you're
ask.
a team, right?
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes I will tell you, it's a lot of people get into lifestyle because they want to add a single person, whether it's a guy or a girl. Finding that single person that the three of you get along is hard enough. Finding a couple that all four people get along with
Sure.
Yes.
is even harder.
Right.
And so when we do find, and those are the ones that become the really good friends.
Right.
Because like I say, you click, you have just this
Kind of
nice
become a part of your circle.
simpatico
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
attitude, and we go and do what we consider vanilla things. You know, we'll go bowling or play pool or whatever, and we just know that at the end of the night, we're going to have a better time than everybody else that's there.
True. You're gonna end the night a little bit
We're gonna have
differently
more
than
fun
everybody
than
else who
you
went
are.
bowling. Yeah. Okay.
We've done some things out in public on purpose to make people wonder, like, what the hell?
Everybody just starts like making out with each other.
No,
Or-
we
haven't
went
gotten
bowling one time, and there were 6 of us, and so 3 couples, and we're bowling, and so, but nobody around us could have told you what couple was an actual couple, because she'll bowl a strike and she'll go jump on one of the husbands or wives, and it just.
I would have totally been the lady at the lane next door, just like
Exactly.
Yeah.
What
And
the heck is
I
going
will- I will
on?
tell
sipping
you,
on my soda.
one of my favorite times that I've ever had in the lifestyle in public, we had a female friend, and so we went out to go play some pool, and so we're playing, and then there's 2 or 3 guys, and they're at the table next to us. So she goes to the bar to get a drink.
This is the same bar with the hot little
Same bar,
bartender.
yes. So that's why she went to the bar to get the
That's
drink.
right, that's why I
Interesting.
went to get the
So
drink.
I'm talking to the guys next to us, and they said, and they asked who the girl was that we were with, and I said, that's my girlfriend. I said, my wife's at the bar getting a drink, and he was like, nuh-uh. I'm like, yeah. So I call her over, and I said, tell him who you are, and she's like, I'm your girlfriend. I said, and who's that? Well, that's your wife. And she gives me a kiss, and then she comes back, and I'm like, honey, who's this? And she's like, well, that's our girlfriend. And these guys are just like, dude, you're the man. And they're the whole night, they're just high-fiving me, and my wife would never go for that. I said, well, you're probably doing it the wrong way. I said, you need to make it about her, not about you. And I said, you never know. I said, your wife might be into it.
Let's explore